Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 2 of the League Cup that happened at Die Hard Games on November 4th, 2023. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description. League Challenge, Thursday, November 16th at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games. And check out Pokemon's event locator for more premier events at Die Hard Games, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick. Subscribe to this channel. Ring the bell for notifications. Say what you need to say in the comments and all that other good stuff. But anyways, let's get into this round 2 of the Cup. On the left, Colorless Lugia. On the right, Charizard. Charizard starting things off here with the Charmander in the active spot and a Battle VIP pass being put into play. As you guys probably already know, Battle VIP pass is that item card you can only play on the first turn of the game, but when you do, you can search your deck for two basic Pokemon, and put them onto your bench. Pidgey and Arceus V being found and put onto the bench. Half of a Battle VIP pass being played here with a Nest Ball. Nest Ball lets you search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. Backup Charmander being found here, joining the party on the bench. Pretty fine looking, pretty fine setup we have going on here on our Charizard player's side. Shout out to their V-Star marker. Fire energy being attached to the active Charmander and passing things over to our Lumineon player. We're going to want to see Lugia V hit the bench. That can happen with this Nest Ball here. Nest Ball, again, search the deck for a basic, put it onto the bench. Lugia V being found and the deck being searched here. Definitely an understood thing on the first deck search. That can go a little bit longer, so that way the player can do a good inventory, see what's in the deck, see what's prized, and better inform their decisions and game plan. Lugia V, really, it's not a big threat to be KO'd next turn. I guess Entei could get there, but it's definitely it's a big ask. Because yeah, that's always a debate. Do you put one Lugia V into play or two? You definitely want at least one, so that way it can evolve on the next turn to Lugia V-Star, so it can use that powerful Summoning Star V-Star ability. That's the whole game plan of this Lugia V deck, Lugia V-Star deck. Bring back those Archeops from the discard pile to the bench with their powerful Primal Turbo abilities. So of course the double Archeops or more, two or more Archeops would love to be in the discard pile as well, but that can always happen next turn. Gift energy being attached to the active Lumineon V and Iono being the supporter per turn. Both players shuffle their hand, put it at the bottom of their deck, and then they draw for their remaining prize cards. So both players getting 6 cards in this instance. There is the second Lugia V in hand, so we'll see if our player decides to play it or not. The Drapions not that big of a deal in this matchup. But yes, the second Lugia V definitely coming down here. The Lumineon retreats into the Lugia V, more HP in the active spot, and pass things over to Charizard. We're going to want to see rare candies and stage 2s at this point. Lost City being put into play, Choice Belt being put onto the Arceus V, third Charmander hitting the bench, and Professor's Research. Wow, all that was missing was rare candy. Professor's Research getting rid of Pidgeot and Charizard EX. Professor's Research, discard to hand and draw 7 new cards. So still on the hunt for at least the Arceus V-Star, because that can make some things happen. Basic Fire being put onto the Arceus V here. And Charmander attacks, getting rid of the stadium. I'm not even going to look that one up. I'd the attack name and everything up, but I know that's what happens, so not a very good turn 2 for our Charizard player here. Let's see what our Lugia player can put together with those lightning hands over there. Ultra Ball being played. Ultra Ball lets you discard a couple cards, so there we go, Archeops number 1 in the discard pile. Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards and search the deck for a Pokemon card, so that Lugia V-Star will be found and evolved in the active spot. And wow, raw Professor Burnett being played. Professor Burnett lets you search your deck for 2 cards and then put them in the discard pile. So what 2 cards do you want in the discard? The Archeops. So that way the Lugia V-Star can use its Summoning Star V-Star power to bring them both back from the discard pile and put them onto the bench, put them directly into play. Wow. Archeops has that Primal Turbo ability that lets you search your deck for 2 special energy cards and put them on a Pokemon. So now you got 2 of them in play. You could do that twice per turn. Energy being debated on being put onto the bench, but actually going to go for that Primal Turbo first. Searching the deck for some energy. Let's see, you probably want to attack with the Lugia V-Star here. It's got the most HP and can take a couple prizes before it goes to the discard pile. Double Turbo being put onto the active Lugia V-Star with the first Primal Turbo. And actually just 2 of them going on actually with the first Primal Turbo to the active Lugia V-Star, and a Jet Energy and Gift Energy being put onto the bench Lugia V with the second Archeops Primal Turbo. So we're getting the energy going. V-Guard Energy being manually attached from hand to that benched Lugia V. And it looks like Lugia V-Star is going to take the KO on the opposing Charmander. 180 damage, more than enough to take the KO. Second Charmander comes up to the active spot. Play resumes on Charizard's side. Let's see what our Charizard player can do. Arven, that most likely is an evolving Pokemon, and Rare Candy. Arven lets you search the deck for a item card and a tool card. So the item being found is the Ultra Ball, just the Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball, discarding Defiance Band and Iono to search the deck for that Arceus V-Star. Arceus V-Star has the V-Star power. Starbirth? Is that what it is? It's been a while. And that V-Star power lets you search your deck for 2 cards. Any 2 cards. You don't even have to show them to your opponent if you don't want to. Most likely going to find Rare Candy and a Stage 2. Just depends on what's in the deck. Rare Candy was in hand, so Rare Candy evolve into Pidgeot. Pidgeot will use its Quick Search ability. Once per turn, you could search your deck for a card. So good. So I imagine the remaining pieces will be found here. Rare Candy being played to evolve the active Charmander into that Charizard EX. Charizard EX has the Infernal Rain ability. When you evolve it, you could search your deck for up to 3 fire energy and put them on your Pokemon in any way you like. So 2 of them going on to the active and 1 onto that benched Arceus V-Star. What was played there? A Ultra Ball. Let's see, I missed it there. So here's the Infernal Rain, bringing some fire energy into play. And then a Nest Ball. Okay, Nest Ball being played. Search the deck for a basic Pokemon. Put it into play. Maybe that Entei could be found. Yep, Entei with its 230 HP. So it's a little harder for this Lugia deck to KO. But there are ways, depending on the builds. So we're seeing a good turn 3 here now, right? For our Charizard player. Charizard EX has the Burning Darkness attack. 180 damage plus. This attack does 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So with the opponent taking 1 prize card, it's currently doing 210 damage. Fire Energy being manually attached to that Entei V. And Burning Darkness for 210 damage onto that Lugia V-Star. Play resumes on Lugia's side. Let's see how they can respond. A Weirdeer V, if they play it in deck, there we go, can be used here. Weirdeer V, if you guys didn't know, has the Frontier Road ability. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of energy from your other Pokemon to it. Mainly to power up its big Psy-Shield Bash attack 40 times. This attack does 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. So this is a way for Lugia, the Lugia deck, to deal big damage. So we're debating on the Weirdeer V here, doing some math, making sure everything lines up. So Weirdeer V being put onto the bench, Jet Energy being attached to that Weirdeer V, which allows it to instantly move into the active spot. Now it can suck some of this special energy up. 2 double turbo energies and 3 more special colorless energy. Once we get things laid out here, I'll go ahead and do some math here in the professor's lab. Alright, because we still have primal turbos too. So currently the Weirdeer V is doing 3. I'll count the double turbo energies as 1 since they minus 20. So it's kind of like they're just doing, they just count as 1 energy. It's currently doing 240 damage, that Weirdeer is. Primal Turbo number 1 coming down to search the deck for 2 special energy cards to attach to a Pokemon. We know which Pokemon that's going to be. It's going to be the Weirdeer V. That can hopefully, for our Lugia player, take the KO on this big Charizard here. Double Turbo Energy being found there. So 280 we're at right now with the Psy-Shield Bash. We need 2 more special energy cards to take the KO, I believe, on the Charizard. Professor's Research being played here to discard the hand and draw 7 new cards. Don't want to draw too much special energy here so it can be accelerated from the deck, but I'm sure there's enough in there. Collapse Stadium coming down. Collapse Stadium card. Both players' bench size is now 4. And if there was 5 Pokemon on the bench, you discard till you have 4. So, or if there's more than 4, you discard till you have 4. So that Liability Lumineon being put into the discard pile, very good. And now we're going to see a second Primal Turbo. Or are we just going to swing into this Charizard? Huh, alright, that is a KO. Alright, let me go ahead and do my math again. Well, this time we'll count the energy and then do minus the colorless energy and then minus for the double turbo. So 10 right now. 10 times 4 is 40 minus 6 for the double turbo. Aha, yep, it's 340. So swinging 340. I was doing some trippy math earlier, apparently. So 340 damage that Weirdeer swung and took the one shot on that Charizard. Wow. And Arceus V-Star is promoted into the active spot. Energy attached to the Arceus V-Star, and Iono, the comeback card, being played here. Both players shuffle up their hand, put it at the bottom of their deck, and draw for their prizes remaining. Charizard player gets 6 cards, Lugia player gets 3. Let's see what our Charizard player can do. Rare Candy into that Charizard, activating its Infernal Rain ability to search the deck for up to 3 fire energy and attach them to the Pokemon in any way they like. 2 fire energy going on to that Charizard. Now the Charizard can take the KO on that Weirdeer, and so can the Arceus V-Star, thanks to that choice belt there. Arceus V-Star does 200 base damage, plus 30 with the choice belt, 230, enough to KO the 220 H point Weirdeer. So not looking too bad on a the response turn of Charizard here. Lost City being put into play. So we definitely won't see any more Weird Ear V in this game. Oh, the V-Guard energy that was missed by me as well as potentially our Charizard player. Ouch. So the V-Guard energy actually reduces the damage by 30 from V Pokemon. So the choice belt did not matter. Potential big miss here on our Charizard player's side. Only dealing 200 damage to that Weird Ear V, and Weird Ear's just pretty much blowing up whatever's in front of it. So you want to see boss's orders here. Not before Captivating Aroma, flipping heads, so that means an evolution Pokemon will be found from the deck. Probably wanted to find that Lumineon, a basic Pokemon, find the Lumineon to find the boss to KO the bench Charizard EX. So our player's just taking a look through the deck here, seeing what options are available, what energies are all still in the deck to be accelerated. But I think that's the number one thing our Lugia player wants to do here is find the boss's orders to take the KO on that benched Charizard EX. Archeops being thin from the deck with that Capturing Aroma. Might as well find something. Don't need any more evolution Pokemon at this point, but might as well get it out of the deck. Alright, Primal Turbo number 1 and 2 going to accelerate energy onto the benched Lugia V-Star. Ultra Ball being played to discard a couple cards to find that Lumineon V. Lumineon V, when you put it into play, it has a Luminous Sign ability, which lets you search your deck for a supporter card. Guess what supporter card was found? That Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders bringing up that Charizard EX from the bench. And Weird Ear V is going to take it down, doing 340 damage to it. You know, our Charizard player's like, this is not supposed to be like this. Weird Ear V taking 4 prize cards here in this game, KOing 2 Charizard EX with 330 HP. Pidgeot EX being put into the active spot. It has free retreat, so that's alright. And now we're for sure going to see this Weird Ear V go down this turn. Energy attached to Entei. Entei uses its fleet-footed ability when it's in the active spot. It could just draw a card. And now it's going to do its attack. Its attack is 20 plus 20 more for all bench Pokemon in play. So 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 160 damage going on to that Weird Ear V. Enough to take the KO. It goes to the Lost Zone, of course. That's why it didn't go to the discard. And then resolving that Gift Energy. Gift Energy, when the Pokemon is knocked out, you draw up to 7 in your hand. That's supposed to go to Lost Zone, but I don't think it's going to matter. Lugia V-Star being put into the active spot. It's all powered up. Doing 200 damage right now. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. Thinking about bringing that Snorlax into the mix here. Just one prize needing to be taken for the game. Yep, Snorlax being put onto the bench there. What can our Lugia player do? Double Capturing Aroma, Tails, and Tails, I think. So 2 basic Pokemon. 2 more basic Pokemon can be found from the deck. Snorlax and something else. Missed the other one. But just thinning the deck at this point, so that way all that's left in deck is good cards. Alright, I can't tell what that card is. I'd like to see, or I'd like to know. Alright, and then Lugia V-Star doing 200 damage to that opposing Entei, who is not threatening the return KO at this point. So is it all but inevitable here in our round 2? Play resumes on Charizard's side. Entei uses Fleet-Footed to draw a card. Let's see, a Charizard could take the KO here, but there are none in play, so we're going to use an Ultra Ball to pitch a couple cards and search the deck for a Pokemon. You don't really want to put a Charmander in play. Okay, alright, there's that Radiant Charizard. That can swing for 250 damage for 1 energy right now, because the opponent has taken 5 prize cards. But it would need a choice belt to take the KO on the opposing Lugia V-Star, and that choice belt is already on the Arceus V-Star, so it just depends on how many of them are in deck. Escape Rope being played. The opponent promotes a new active Pokemon first, and then you do the same. It looks like no matter what, the Arceus V-Star is coming into the active spot for a Charizard player. And Archeop's being offered up. Didn't matter, boss's orders being played to bring up that damage. Lugia V-Star, and Arceus V-Star takes the KO on it. Alright, 160 HP on that Radiant Charizard there. 1 prize card being needed to be taken by our Lugia player here, so maybe benching the Radiant Charizard a little bit too soon, because boss's orders on it just ends the game. We'll see. Snorlax being put into play here. Therapeutic energy being attached to the Snorlax. The deck being cut. And Ultra Ball being played, discarding a couple cards to search for a Lugia V-Star. Just thinning the deck out here. Alright, so yes, thinning the deck, pulling that Lugia V-Star out, Primal Turbo, accelerating a couple more energy onto that Snorlax on the bench. And I imagine we're going to see an attack with the Snorlax here. I imagine if boss's orders was an option, it would have been slammed down at this point. So instead, going to do some prize denial by attacking with a single prizer. We shall see. Professor's Research being played to discard the hand, draw 7 new cards. There's 2 boss's orders now. For next turn, at least. Capturing Aroma being played, flipping Tails. So now the deck will be searched for a basic Pokemon. No target being selected. Just burning that card out of the hand. Collapse Stadium being played to remove that Lumineon V from play. No easy prizes being offered up here. And actually going in with that Lugia V-Star. Yeah, I guess there's no way for this Charizard deck at this point to take the KO on it unless the choice belt, a second choice belt, is played. So that's probably what we should have saw, was the Lugia V-Star retreat into the Snorlax to attack, to, you know, just in case the Charizard player played a second choice belt. But you know what? We're taking bets. We're betting there's only 1 choice belt in here, and it's already on the Arceus V-Star. Lugia attacking for 200 damage into the Arceus V-Star. And now how can our Charizard player take 2 prize cards here to finish the game? The only way with this board state is, yep, we're already pointing to the choice belt, is with the choice belted Radiant Charizard. So, starting things off with the Super Rod. Super Rod lets you shuffle any combination up to 3 Pokemon or basic energy from the discard to your deck. So 3 fire energies being shuffled from the discard back into the deck. Most likely to try and find to power up this Radiant Charizard on the bench. But even if it attacks, it just gets respawn KO'd by both powered up attackers on the Lugia side of the field. So not looking good for a Charizard player here, but they are putting up a good fight. Ultra Ball being played, discarding a couple cards, searching the deck for a Pokemon card. It could be a basic, it could be a stage 6, it could be a mega, any Pokemon. Ultra Ball's so good. Finding that Lumineon, Luminous Sign, being used to find a boss's orders in the deck. Looking to do some kind of boss stall play here. Trying to stall a Snorlax in the active spot. I guess that's not the worst play in the world, as the decks are looking pretty thin here. And yes, there are multiple win conditions in the Pokemon trading card game. First one is taking all 6 prize cards. Another one is if you cannot draw a card for at the beginning of your turn, you lose. So boss's orders onto that Snorlax. Play resumes on Lugia's side. Very interesting stuff we're seeing here. I think that was just a pass. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I might have missed it. So after the Snorlax got brought up with boss's orders, it was Lugia's turn. They had nothing, so they passed. So then it was Charizard's turn. They attached a fire energy to the benched Radiant Charizard and passed things over. Looks like Radiant Charizard's deck's a lot thicker than the Lugia deck, so pass things over to the Lugia player. Lugia player uses Primal Turbo to search the deck, and there is no energy in the deck, is there? Usually Lugia doesn't play any way to move around on the board aside from jet energy. So did our Charizard player find a way to claw their way back into this game? They're counting their energy right now, but they do have access to the deck, so they should know what's in there. But just triple checking everything here, seeing what's all in the discard pile, what options are available. There's lots of energy on that Snorlax there. 3 of them on the Lugia. Just double checking. Is this really happening right now? Is this how it goes? Well, they are looking. Alright, now they are checking their opponent's discard pile. See what options the opponent has left. There are 2 cards left in the Lugia deck, so if they cannot draw a prize card or draw a card from deck at the beginning of their turn, they lose the game. A Lugia player deep in the tank here, trying to figure out all the variables, trying to download as much information as they can, checking out the board state, seeing maybe can I pull off a boss play as well, a boss stall play as well. How much energy does my opponent have left and have access to? Because there's definitely 2 boss in their hand, at least 2. Alright, let's see what they do. Pass over to the Charizard player. Alright, and our Charizard player will play Arven. Search in the deck for a tool card and an item card. That lost vacuum being found here. Okay. More so to thin the deck out, I think. You don't want to thin the deck out too much. Because remember, they want to deck out their opponent, or they want their opponent to deck out before they do. Arceus V-Star retreats into the Pidgeot, who has way more HP remaining than it. Okay. Pidgeot EX uses its quick search ability to search the deck for a card. Let's see what card they find. Alright. Let's see what our players can do. Shuffling that tiny deck right there, but as long as it's more than 2 cards is a good thing. Fire energy being attached to the active Pidgeot, passing things over to Lugia. 4 cards in the Charizard deck, 1 card in the Lugia deck, passes things over to Charizard. Yeah, I think we just pass. Over to the Lugia player. Draws the last card in their deck. Do they have something like Iono to rebuild the deck? Lugia usually doesn't play Super Rod or any kind of recovery. So yeah, I think the writing is on the wall for this one. But our player's still looking through the discard pile, searching for some kind of answer, some kind of out. Let's see what they can put together. I probably would like to see the Charizard player hold that fire energy here, just in case a boss stall play was an option. But actually going to go for Iono. Iono, both players shuffle their hands, put it at the bottom of their deck, draw for remaining prize cards. Charizard player gets 2, Lugia player gets 1. Primal Turbo being used to shuffle that deck up, double check what's in there. But I think the Lugia player still has fewer cards in deck than the Charizard player. Passing things over to Charizard player. They're going to count the cards in deck. We really don't want to play any more cards to get them out of the deck, because again, you want your deck to have more cards in it than your opponents if we're going for this deck out strategy, which we've got to be. Fire energy being attached to the Pidgeot EX, and it attacks for 100 damage, 120 damage. Okay. Play resumes on Lugia's side. Yeah, I'm not sure why our Charizard player is going in and attacking with the Pidgeot at this point. You can bet that the Charizard player, or sorry, the Lugia player still has enough boss's orders to close this game out, with only one prize being needed for that, take the KO on that Charizard. So pass things over. Pidgeot EX takes the KO on the opposing Snorlax, and immediately the Lugia player slams that boss's orders. Boss's orders will bring up the Radiant Charizard on the bench, and the Lugia V-Star powered up can do more than enough damage to take the KO on it and the last prize card and this round of the League Cup. So man, I think our Charizard player had it if they did not start attacking with the Pidgeot EX. They most likely could have decked out their opponent, and as long as their deck had enough cards in it as well, or more cards than their opponent. But either way, very interesting and good game we saw here. What did you guys think of this video in the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.